And
Where?
hayride with me. We went on a hayride, wherever it was, some farm somewhere. And then she went back to Chicago. So I really didn't see her until I got out of the Army. Or I was still in the Army on a furlough. Excuse me, I was still in the Army on a furlough, and I saw her again. That would be somewhere 1945-ish.
And when did you guys start dating?
Around 1945, I imagine.
Wait a minute, they were in Chicago. They were
She came back to
into
Cleveland.
They went back to
Joe was reassigned to Cleveland. He worked for Mr. McBride and the newspaper business and so on. And they were reassigned to Cleveland. And Joe was happy about home. He had his daughter Lori and his son Eddie and his wife Lillian.
You got a call back. You're kidding.
Well, they were asking me about how...
Okay, we're on.
Benny was asking about Lori.
Well, he wasn't asking about Lori.
He wanted to know how you met.
Well, how I met Lori and when we dated, and what the time was 1945.
And you were on a hayride.
She was reassigned. Well, that was the first date, so to speak. She was her father, Joe, was reassigned to Cleveland. Are we still on that?
Yeah, we're on.
Because this is disjointed descendants. I didn't do it. My photographers did it. Anyway, we met, both going to Cleveland College at the time. Because before I got into Adelbert, as I mentioned before, I was kind of, they wanted to see what I was a fit person to be part of Adelbert College.
But you knew Lori in high school, didn't you?
I did that already, Susan.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Okay, sorry.
We got to have one record, one interviewer, or three asking the same time. I met Lori in high school, probably in the 10th or 11th grade. Joe's boss, Arthur McBride, who later owned the Cleveland Browns, was assigned to Cleveland. And Lori went to Heights High School. And I met her then. Had one or two dates, I don't remember. I remember we went on a hayride. And then I never saw her again until I was on a furlough from the Army. And then we dated from time to time. And this is the period 1947, so on, and 48, whatever. And then we got married, of course, not of course, but we got married in April 1949. Got to follow up some questions because there's no flow to this. You got to ask me something.
You're doing fine. Where'd you get married?
That's because I was responding to a question.
Where did you get married?
We got married in the Wade Park Manor by Rabbi Rudy Red-Nosed Reindeer Rosenthal. And he,
Wade Park
I'm
Manor.
answering, Wade Park Manor was a very glorious then hotel near the art museum.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, later became, now
Judson Manor.
That's
Judson
why I
Manor.
was saying that. Okay,
And it was a
wasn't nuts.
lovely
Okay.
wedding, you know, not the big time multi-million-dollar wedding, but a lovely wedding. Laurie was dressed beautifully. We were informal, and it was in April 10th, 1944. 1944.
Nice.
April 10th, 1949. I was 23, and Laurie was on the verge of becoming 23.
Oh, is that
She was
true?
22, sure.
It's just like me and Brad.
April 29.
No, like you and Brian. Never mind, I'm teasing your grammar. Anyway, it was a lovely wedding, and we lived then in an apartment. It's too quiet?
No, we were teasing you because you were correcting my English, but we both decided it was fine. Go ahead.
Me and my shadow, that's not fine. My shadow and I. Never mind.
No.
All right, anyway.
You lived in
Laurie
an
and I
apartment.
lived in an apartment on East 86th Street, which is near Huff. And I worked, well, forget that. I worked for the playground instructor at Huff School.
Oh.
Laurie worked at Dr. Fetterman's office as a psychiatric assistant. It was a very good job, and she was very good at it. And lived there for several years.
Is that where Beth was born?
Beth
The
was
apartment?
born, right, she wasn't conceived there. She was conceived in Cape Cod. Well, sure you
Well,
want
you
to
know where she was conceived. I'm impressed. I'm
no,
darn
she
impressed.
wasn't born there.
Where were each of us conceived?
I could
Or do you just, you can tell us.
She wasn't. Beth
This is
was,
cool.
Beth was, that's not, I was in East 86th Street. No. Beth had a high, we went up the hill in Cleveland Heights.
Oh.
On what?
Mayfield?
No, hold it. Where Lori had a home later.
East
We-
Overlook.
Overlook.
Or Lori had a home later.
Overlook.
On Overlook. That's where we were in an apartment when Beth was born. And I was
all right.
already graduated.
Let's
from law
stop for a minute. I want to go back to a
So we're
particular
starting
story, but I
skipping.
want to find out where each of us was conceived. This is great. Where was Henry conceived?
The look on Marvin's face.
This is cool. I have no
I
idea where
must
my
be
children were
conceived during the
conceived.
storm because I was born in September. So it must
Where
have
was
been
he
some
conceived?
January cold
Where
day.
was he conceived?
They
In
snuggled
Tahiti.
up,
Susie,
and
let's
they
go
played.
for
Where
it.
was I conceived?
they played
In
around.
Australia.
You don't know.
You're
You
asking
just
me
know
where,
that.
not when. Never. Let's go
Well,
forward.
when? It's easy. I can do math.
I don't really know.
Oh.
I can tell you. Well, let me go forward
All right.
instead of backwards. So, Lori and I lived on East 82nd Street between Chester and Huff, which is a very nice neighborhood at the time. You had a three-room apartment. Lori worked in the Army. Not only did you get the GI Bill, which took me through undergraduate school and law school with a I had a what do you call it?
Stipend?
No, well, it was a stipend, but it was an honorary thing. Anyway, with that, it cost me $1,000 altogether, 7 years of education. I worked in a playground, I said at Huff, and a shoe store, blah, 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 blah. I was beyond the shoe store then, I was a big time player.
On the
Three-
playground?
Yeah. Then we moved to,
Wait a
we
minute.
moved to Overlook. And I graduated from law school. I went to law school when I was on East 86th Street. And when I became a lawyer with the Sindel and Sindel office, making $5,200 a year, we moved to Overlook and had an apartment there. And that was in the Heights because you went up the hill, you know. And it was up, yeah, it was big time. And Beth was born there.
Now, was it the apartment on East 82nd Street
86.
where you first challenged your relationship with your mother-in-law? Do you remember a story from there?
Oh yeah, Susan's bringing me back. And this played off recently.
Oh no!
We're in the, yeah, I told her about it for a reason. We're in this little apartment. It was a very nice apartment.
Is that
We
all
had
the
lovely
criminal
parties
record?
and the law school students and everything. And one day, being the somewhat, as good as it gets, Jack Nicholson compulsive, I was cleaning up everything, and here was this bag, which is a bag, a grocery bag.
From my first, I always cut off.
No.
Oh, okay.
And Marvin wanted to be a efficient helper, and Lily was there, and Lori's mother. And I took the bag and threw it down the rubbish chute. In it, the incinerator. And in it was Lily's lovely glassware,
Crystal.
crystal glassware.